KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
This morning on GMSA, tributes continue to pour in for San Antonio business icon Red McCombs, who died Sunday at the age of 95. How legends across San Antonio and the sports world are remembering him this morning.
Plus, President Biden is in Poland with NATO allies, setting the stage of what comes next for the war in Ukraine. That's coming up in your morning headlines.
Mild and muggy this morning. It's been a beautiful starry night overall. Looks like some fog is trying to form in a few spots. We'll talk to Mike in just a moment. Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, the 21st.
Happy Tuesday. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, a little muggy out there for now.
It is. Don't even know if you need a jacket this morning. It's possible, but Mike joins us now. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Just depends on, I guess, your tolerance level for, these temperatures. But yeah, it is very muggy out there and it's going to stay muggy. Then some dry air moves on in, but that's going to cause a problem. This is for tomorrow, kind of jumping ahead. First of all, as you can see over there by 10 at 410, everything looks pretty good. Temperature is 61 degrees, some 50s in the hill country, about the same. It's funny, we've been going kind of back and forth. We were in the 60s, dropped to the upper 50s very quickly, back up to the 60s right now. And dew points are very high, much higher than what they were at this time yesterday, in the mid upper 50s, some low 60s around here. And yes, we are already seeing some fairly thick fog. The airport's pretty good, but Randolph all the way up to New Braunfels, quarter-mile visibility, some around Stinson, Port SA, and further off to the east. It looks like this morning, instead of being off to the east, the majority of the fog is right smack darn in the middle of the area, and it's going to be sticking around for the next couple of hours. A whole laundry list of allergens out there, all those spring allergens, and throughout the rest of the morning, we are going to be seeing temperatures hover right around 60, upper 50s, some patchy fog, and then later on this afternoon, 84 high temperature. It was 79 yesterday, so we're going to be even hotter, and then even hotter on top of that tomorrow, plus a fire danger for parts of the area tomorrow. More on that coming up. Mark?
Mike, thank you. This morning, the San Antonio community continues to react to the loss of legendary businessman and sports team owner Red McCombs. His family says the icon died Sunday at the age of 95. Red helped put San Antonio on the map with his ownership of the Spurs, owning the team two separate times. He also owned the Minnesota Vikings and the Denver Nuggets at one time. His McCombs Foundation helped grow the nonprofit San Antonio Sports and what it is today. McCombs also helped found Spurs Give. San Antonio Spurs head coach Greg Popovich released a statement last night on McCombs' passing, and we'll have that coming up in just a few minutes.
And to some developing stories, San Antonio police and Crime Stoppers are hoping a photo from security video will help find the driver of an 18-wheeler accused in a road rage shooting from earlier this month. So here's a photo with an arrow pointing to that 18-wheeler driver. Now, the shooting happened back on February 8th in the 6400 block of I-35. Police say a man driving the yellow 18-wheeler towing a box trailer fired multiple shots at a car. Anyone with information asked to call tips to Crime Stoppers. That number, 210-224-STOP.
Other news this morning, a woman is facing charges after Windcrest police say she strangled one person and assaulted another during a robbery. 30-year-old Celeste Sandoval Pena is charged with aggravated robbery, burglary, assault, and terroristic threat. The robbery happened last Thursday at a home on Springdrift Drive near Eaglecrest. Officials say she allegedly went inside the home and stole a person's car keys. That's when investigators say she strangled someone inside. Police say when a second person tried to intervene, that's when they were attacked.
Topping your morning headlines, President Biden is in Poland after a surprise trip to Ukraine on Monday. It was Biden's first time in the country since the start of the Russian invasion nearly a year ago. Biden met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Kyiv, saying the U.S. will stand with the country as it battles against Russian forces. Biden says new sanctions would be imposed on Moscow later this week.
Back here in the U.S., a so-called copycat threat in the state of Virginia from a student who attends the same school where that 6-year-old allegedly shot his teacher weeks ago. The threat was apparently made in a group chat of 5th graders and revealed to school officials after one student shared the text with a parent. The Newport News School District and Police Department are both actively investigating.
The head of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is returning to Ohio today to address health concerns after the toxic train derailment in East Palestine. Now, residents there say they are suffering from a range of symptoms, so the Ohio Health Department is turning a local church into a health clinic where people can be evaluated by nurses and toxicologists. EPA officials say 15,000 pounds of contaminated soil and 1 million gallons of contaminated water have been excavated from that area so far.
Well, suspicions about that meteor landing in South Texas were right on the money. NASA says a loud boom heard in the Rio Grande Valley was in fact a meteor. A flash of light and the boom were reported in the skies near McAllen last Wednesday. The American Meteor Society posted a photo of a meteorite found in that area. According to NASA, the meteor measured about 2 feet in diameter and weighed about 2,000 pounds. They believe it traveled around 27,000 miles per hour.
Time now, 4:35 and 62 degrees for now.
Still ahead on GMSA this morning. If you're looking ways to upgrade your home, upgrade your bulbs and plugs is a quick and easy fix. We'll explain before 5.
And the rodeo is back in action for the final week. We're going to have some must-see highlights from bull riding up next.
So it's fun to talk about. Let's take a look at traffic right now. And we see flashing lights at 37 and Hackberry, quite a few of them. Also, we have this, what looks like to be rolling construction at 35 and Laredo.
And let's look out there with a live cam. A little humid this morning, but if you're going to be out for a while, maybe a light jacket could be a little cool. We'll be right back.
I don't think legacies really mean anything much except maybe to your children or somebody you were close to. I think what it means is to you in your own life feeling meaningful.
And that was Red McCombs in 2017 at his 90th birthday party talking about his legacy. Red passed away Sunday at the age of 95. He bought the ABA Dallas Chaparrals and moved him to San Antonio for the 1973 season. Red was instrumental in getting the Spurs into the NBA during the ABA-NBA merger in 1976. He owned the Spurs on 2 separate occasions and famously traded cash to the Virginia Squires for a man named George the Iceman Gervin. Spurs head coach Greg Popovich released this statement Monday night saying, quote, Red was a true icon, a Texas legend. It's impossible to overstate the impact he had on the city of San Antonio. Perhaps his most impressive trade of thousands of lives here in San Antonio and across Texas. From multi-million flying a stranded little league team back to San Antonio, the McCombs family has always put community first. To me, most of all, he was a good friend and a mentor, end quote. All right, staying on the basketball court, we've reached the 3rd round of the girls basketball playoffs. Class 4A defending regional champs Fredericksburg playing Navarro in a back-and-forth game. 3rd quarter, Batlin Billies in control. Kirsten Hartman nails a 3-ball for a 39-25 lead. Panthers claw their way back. Tatum Harborth drives and gets the fall, count it and 1. She'd finish with a game-high 22. Fredericksburg, though, gets the win. Billies sweep their district rivals 62-41. Fredericksburg will now take on the winner of tonight's Somerset versus Beeville Jones matchup in the regional semifinals this Friday. Bull riding back in action Monday night at the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. 5 of the 11 rides went the distance. Here's Jeff Askey spinning around on board Frontier Coffee, and that's an 80-point ride. And then look how calm the bull is afterward. Nice and chill. Here's 7-time world champ Sage Steele riding Moonflower. Steele breaks off an 87-point ride. Final cowboy of the night, Trey Holston, with a re-ride on the bull Frontier Coffee, and he hits the 8-second mark to earn an 87, tied for first with Sage Steele. And that's a look at morning sports.
Impressive. Time now, 4:41 and 61 degrees for now. After the break, if you're looking for ways to upgrade your home but don't know where to start, well, we're going to get you covered with some easy projects.
Plus, Robin Roberts is celebrating the 10-year anniversary of her return to television after battling cancer. That's next in your GMA First Look.
And welcome back. It's 4:44. Good Morning America's Robin Roberts is celebrating the 10-year anniversary of her return to TV after battling cancer. ABC's Morgan Norwood has the details in today's GMA First Look.
In this morning's GMA First Look, looking back and celebrating this moment 10 years ago.
I have been waiting 174 days to say this. Good morning, America.
In June 2012, when Robin first announced her condition, myelodysplastic syndrome, or MDS.
It is a rare blood disorder that affects the bone marrow.
She was fortunate to have the perfect match, her sister, Sally Ann.
She is going to be my donor.
In the years that followed, sharing her story in hopes of helping others through their own journeys. Now celebrating 10 years of bringing donors and recipients face to face.
Thank you for saving my life.
And coming up at 7 a.m., our One Match Second Chance event kicks off as people join the Be the Match registry on college campuses from coast to coast. With your GMA First Look, I'm Morgan Norwood, ABC News, New York.
4:45 this morning, turning off appliances or locking the door remotely with the push of a button is pretty cool.
There are so many different ways to have a smart home. However, if you're not sure where to start, no problem.
12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz shows us some easy upgrades.
They're a bright idea, smart light bulbs and smart plugs. Saeed Abbas uses them.
When I leave home, I can just check my app to know that, okay, all the lights are turned off. I'm not using any energy that I don't need.
Both smart bulbs and plugs can turn any lamp into a smart lamp that you can control from anywhere using an app. Or just say, Alexa, living room light on. But how do you know if bulbs or plugs are best?
Smart bulbs are a better choice for lamps that have a lampshade because the bulbs themselves are kind of ugly looking. Bulbs are also a great choice for fixtures that can't be plugged in, such as overhead light fixtures.
If you want to switch colors or between warm and cool light, you'll also want a smart bulb. Dan Roklowski says these from TP-Link Casa Smart and Cree are good budget options. One bulb is $8 to $10. If you want to go further, smart plugs do more than just lighting.
You can use them to control any appliance in your home, whether it's a fan or even a coffee maker. They're also really great for fire safety for devices like space heaters, hair straighteners, or hair dryers. If you forget to turn them off, you can do it remotely from your phone even when you're not home.
He says this smart plug from GE is one of the easiest to set up and works with both Alexa and Google Assistant. This TP-Link Casa Smart plug is also easy and works with Amazon, Apple, Google, and Samsung assistants. As for Saeed, he's moved beyond bulbs and plugs.
Alexa, movie night.
Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
And here's a look at TransGuide, looking out there at Loop 1604. Pretty quiet there. However, it looks like we have a crash that is clearing stages along I-37 southbound.
Yes, clearing stages 37 southbound near Southeast Military. And then earlier we saw flashing lights and everything was moving.
Yes.
Street sweepers.
Street sweepers. I saw some of them on the way to work.
Yeah, this is the time of the night they usually do it, or morning, depending on how you look at it.
Yes.
Hey, several years ago, we actually got a chance to go to New York and visit with Robin and George and several of the GMA team, and it was so cool. And if you're wondering, is Robin as nice as she seems on the air? The answer is an unqualified yes.
And it was interesting because it was not long after she got back from her treatment, and on the air she was fine, but during commercial breaks and everything like that, even getting off some of the risers and platforms, she was very, very weakened condition.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's come back gangbusters. So just a good idea. And they've got that match program going on too. And
That's good that she's been able to bring attention to that as well.
Happy anniversary to Robin Roberts at Good Morning America.
All right, we've got hot temperatures out there, and it's going to be getting hotter. Beautiful sunset yesterday, and we had a few of those leftover clouds out there. Cleared out quite nicely, got to the upper 70s yesterday. It's going to be even hotter today. It's going to be even hotter tomorrow. We've got some clouds hanging around here. Notice the picture's kind of fuzzy looking. 61 here in town. It's funny what temperatures did. We were right around low 60s, dipped to the upper 50s, came back up into the low 60s, just all in the course of about an hour. 59 at Randolph, Stinson, up there toward Bernie Stage, low 50s in parts of the hill country. A bunch of humidity out there, and that's what is helping with some fog. Now, dew points compared to yesterday, in some cases have dropped a little bit, up slightly from yesterday, and Rock Springs is also up out there in portions of the hill country. More fog showing up this morning than yesterday. Randolph Randolph as well as New Braunfels. Very thick fog right there on 35, Stinson, and then down toward Pleasanton. So this is going to continue to thicken up. We've got some at Port SA, so watch it around the airport. And it looks like it's pretty much confined in the center portion of our viewing area. It's not bad down to the coast, but it will get thicker at times over the course of the next couple of hours. So temperatures, low 60s, upper 50s, fairly steady throughout the next couple of hours. And a little bit of sunshine late this morning, and we are going to make it up to 76 at noon. And then top off at 84, so about 5 above where it was yesterday, with a fair amount of humidity. Dew point temperatures remain in the 50s, 60s throughout the day. Yeah, you're going to notice every bit of that 84 degrees with that humidity out there. And then it's going to start off very humid tomorrow. We'll have some more fog around the area. Then throughout the course of the day tomorrow, dew points will drop like a rock. We've got this front moving on through here, and it is technically a cold front. It's just a wind shift line, and with that drier air coming on in, a southwesterly wind that always heats things up. So we're going to make it up into the upper 80s and probably some 90s along the Rio Grande Valley tomorrow. Very, very hot. And then humidity comes right back in here again on Thursday, and it won't be as hot, but still going to be hot even going in through the weekend. Not every single day will be in the 80s though, so there's a little bit of salvation, but it's going to stay well above normal all the way through the weekend. 76 degrees today at noon. Partly cloudy skies. We'll have some of the fog left over this morning, and of course, where there's fog, maybe a little bit of mist, so watch out for that. 84 this afternoon for a high temperature, mostly sunny skies. Tomorrow, so we start off warm and muggy, and then that front moves through midday, drops the humidity. That allows things to really heat up. 88 degrees for a high temperature tomorrow, down to 82 on Thursday. Then another actual kind of more of a front, down to 75 on Friday. Big cool down Friday. I say that tongue in cheek. And then back to the low 80s Saturday, Sunday, maybe a couple of sprinkles around here by Monday. But right now, the normals are 69 and mid 40s.
Wow.
So just do the math. Averaging, what, 15 degrees above normal? 10, 15 on the high side? Anywhere from 15 to 20 on the low side?
We won't be pulling out the jackets.
By the way, anniversary today. The infamous one, 1996, 100.
See, I always forget about that one, but I think I'm blocking it out. Yeah.
I remember it was my first February. I was like, what in the world?
Okay, well, at least we don't have that.
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
That's
All right,
true.
452, 61 degrees.
After the break, the Avatar sequel is soaring to new heights. Why it's making history right now in your morning spotlight.
The way of water connects all things.
Avatar, The Way of Water soaring to new heights. James Cameron's sequel has surpassed his 1997 film Titanic and is now the third highest grossing movie of all time. The Oscar-nominated sci-fi epic has grossed more than $2.2 billion, according to studio estimates. Only the original Avatar and Avengers Endgame have earned more. Avatar's studio, 20th Century, is owned by Disney, the parent company of ABC News. And speaking of highs, how about going back to the future? The stars of the beloved 80s franchise reuniting in Portland, Oregon this weekend. Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Leah Thompson, and Thomas F. Wilson, who played Biff Tannen, back together at Fan Expo. Thompson posting pics of the gathering on her Instagram page. Rebel Wilson is engaged. The Pitch Perfect star says she's marrying girlfriend Ramona Agrama. Wilson sharing photos of the proposal on Instagram and thanking Bob Iger and the team at Disneyland for pulling off the surprise. Disney, once again, the parent company of ABC. And happy birthday, Sophie Turner. The Game of Thrones star is 27. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Los Angeles.
4 minutes till 5, 61 degrees.
Up next at 5, the Supreme Court taking up a case involving the internet, Google, and YouTube, how a terror attack in Europe triggered arguments in the case.
It's been over a year since Lena Kill disappeared here in San Antonio without a trace, but her family's not giving up as they mark her 5th birthday. Why they're hoping a new image could help bring her home.
And let's look out there with TransSky. There's a look at Loop 1604. We have sleepers on the roadways this morning, so it's something to be aware of. Be right back.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
But today's her birthday. What a gift you would be able to give to her if you could share share her picture.
This morning on GMSA, a heartbreaking time for the family of Lena Kill here in San Antonio. They should be celebrating her 5th birthday, where they're hoping this new image could help bring her home.
And we are tracking new details of an overnight shooting on the city's southwest side near South San Antonio High School.
Definitely feeling like spring out there this morning. 61 degrees, very mild. We'll talk to Mike in just a moment. Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, February 21st.
Thanks for joining us. Mild and maybe a little muggy in some spots.
And Mike, I started seeing pictures yesterday. The wildflowers are starting to pop up way up in the Texas Hill Country and heading down towards the coast.
Yes, indeed. And actually got a picture to show later on this morning of beautiful roses that are blooming. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of flowers blooming and everything else this week because, boy, they're going to be thinking it's spring because it sure does feel like spring out there. 60 degrees right now. That bottom number, dew point, is at 58. So a lot of humidity, and that's what's helping out with some fog. We don't have any breeze, really. Yesterday, we got up to the upper 70s. Now, keep in mind, 69 is the normal high temperature. We're going to be up to 84 later on today, so 15 degrees above normal. The aquifer yesterday did drop down 0.2 of a foot, and the allergens, we have got just a slew of them out there. Everything's on the light side, but you can see as we're really kind of getting into almost spring-like weather, everything's starting to come into bloom and all that pollen out there. So we do have some fog to deal with. Quarter-mile visibility from New Braunfels down to Randolph, for now Stinson and Port SA, a hint out there at the airport, and over toward Gonzales, Pleasanton, and it looks like most of it right now is confined pretty much right along 35, a little bit down to the southeast, and this at times is going to be getting thicker as the morning rolls on. Also, as is usually the case when we have some of this fog, there's going to be a little bit of mist, so watch out for some damp spots on the road. So warm and humid, clouds and fog this morning, and then mostly sunny. Once again, mid-80s for a high temperature, and if you think that's hot, just wait till tomorrow. Fog again in the morning, upper 80s and some 90s along the Rio Grande Valley. Mostly sunny skies. Now, what's going to be happening tomorrow? There is a front which will move through right about midday. Now, despite that, we get even hotter because it pulls in some dry air, southwesterly winds, and that just allows things to really start to skyrocket. And the rest of the week, not as hot, but still hot. We're still going to be well above normal. Only mid-70s on Friday. That, believe it or not, is the coolest high temperature in the next 7 days. Any rain chances to be had? Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority. Good morning, Mr. Cavazos. What's going on?
Hey, good morning, Mike. Well, you may have seen this on the TransGuide cameras. We do have a few sweepers that are still out there. 1604 at John Pease, flashing lights, but nothing to be concerned about just yet because we have plenty of overnight construction that is still lingering around town. And you can see that shot here, 1604 at John Pease. Again, a very busy shot. Looks like we may be losing that image from TransGuide, so we'll go ahead and jump around in just a moment. But let's get you to the map. You can see plenty of that construction taking place in and around our area. Now, there was one crash that was reported along I-37. This was earlier in the morning. That has cleared out, and in fact, really all we're going to see, those flashing lights, will really just be those construction crews working to improve our roadways. So make sure to give them plenty of room out there. I-10, let's take a look at those inbound times from Bernie because the journey should take you about 24 minutes to the Alamo City. About 27 minutes, so don't hurry if you're traveling in from Bulverde this early. 281 southbound doesn't look too bad. And 26 minutes on long I-35 southbound, so not too awful from New Braunfels. So again, let's go ahead and take a look around town because from what I'm looking at, the roads are pretty quiet and normal here. As you can take a look at 35 at 37, just a few folks out there, but a lot of folks returning to work, kiddos returning to class. We'll continue to watch the roads closely and have an update on those construction spots coming up a little bit later on. Guys?
Stephen, thank you. New this morning, San Antonio police are investigating a shooting on the city's southwest side near South San High School. A 34-year-old man was riding a bicycle on Somerset Road just after midnight when someone in a black sedan pulled up and shot him twice in the leg. SAPD tells us a Good Samaritan drove the man to Texas Vista Medical Center, where he was then taken to another hospital. That man is expected to be okay.
San Antonio business icon Red McCombs is being remembered this morning after passing away at his home on Sunday at the age of 95. McCombs helped put San Antonio on the map with his ownership of the Spurs, owning the team 2 separate times. He served in the Army after World War II and later used his GI Bill to study business and law at the University of Texas at Austin. Now the business school there, softball stadium, and North End Zone at DKR Texas Memorial Stadium were later named in his honor. And while McCombs was known as a business tycoon across Texas, he and his wife Charlene planted their roots in San Antonio. His McCombs Foundation helped grow the nonprofit organization San Antonio Sports into what it is today. McCombs also helped found Spurs Give.
He always wanted to support what we did in San Antonio through our mission of transforming this community through the power of sport.
Spurs Sports and Entertainment CEO R.C. Buford released a statement on Monday night reading, quote, "As we celebrate our 50th anniversary, it's important to state that without Red and Charlene there would be no Spurs. His approach, vision, and impact were unique and wonderful. On a personal level, I am forever grateful for the trust, support, and lessons that Red provided to me and my family over our 35-year friendship. There will never be another Red McCombs," end quote. And you can read more about the life and legacy of Red McCombs over on KSAT.com. Just look for the story on the front page.
It has been over a year since Lena Kill disappeared here in San Antonio, but her family is not giving up as they mark her 5th birthday. Lena was last seen in December of 2021 and vanished without a trace. Now there's hope that a new image could help bring her home. This age progression sketch of Lena was unveiled Monday. The drawing shows what it's believed she might look like today. Pamela Allen with Eagles Flight Advocacy and Outreach explains lots of tips are still coming in, but not many have been helpful due to a lack of new pictures of Lena. The organization and Kill family have now gotten the assistance of a renowned forensic artist in the hopes of finding her.
We're going to spread that hope. I mean, what will we lose in sharing hope with one another? And we're going to continue in the search for Lena.
As Alan is also challenging the community to share and repost the image. We have it on our website at KSAT.com and also on our social media pages. When you post it, you're asked to use a hashtag 10,000 shares for Lena. The goal is to have it shared 10,000 times nationally and internationally.
Time now is 5:06 and 61 degrees for now.
Still to come at 5, TikTok says a new program to help creators earn more money is expected to expand soon. That's coming up in your Tech Bites.
And up next, a Supreme Court case involving Google and YouTube, how a terror attack in Paris inspired arguments in the case.
Outside with Live Cam, you may peek outside this morning and realize you don't really need a jacket or sweatshirt today, which is kind of a nice way to start. But things are notably warming up around here in the afternoons. Mike has your South Texas forecast coming up. 5:10, welcome back. This morning's social media is at the center of 2 cases going before the U.S. Supreme Court.
And one challenge the justices could upend protections that have long shielded internet companies from liability.
ABC's Derek Dennis explains.
This morning, the killing of American college student Naomi Gonzalez in the 2015 ISIS terror attacks in Paris is a case before the Supreme Court.
I never thought that something is going to happen to her.
I could never imagine it.
Never.
Her parents claim YouTube's algorithms highlighted ISIS-produced materials and further radicalized the extremists that killed their daughter.
Hopefully by this, it'll change the laws and it'll be for the good.
Oral arguments today will center on Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act of 1996, which says internet companies, including social media platforms, cannot be sued over third-party content uploaded by users. But some legal experts say social media platforms are responsible for their content.
They get to decide what to carry, they get to decide what not to carry, and they get to decide how to design their algorithms to amplify certain types of content.
Another case being heard by the High Court today is the case of Anthony Novak of Ohio, arrested in 2016 after making a phony police Facebook page with fake announcements. He says it was obviously a joke.
You click the page, it's very obvious, and even what you're reading should strike you as off.
Local police weren't laughing, charging him with disruption of law enforcement operations. A jury found him not guilty, but he wants the Supreme Court to grant him the right to sue police for violating his civil rights.
They raided my house, they took my electronics, they arrested me, my image was blasted all over the news, and I didn't do anything wrong. So I don't want them to think that's okay, because I kind of think they do.
Both these cases could have big implications, one potentially making social media platforms more liable for their content. The other could draw the line between parody and public safety. Derek Dennis, ABC News, New York.
512, 60 degrees.
Up next, Google Chrome is making some changes for people who use their stuff, how it can help you keep your devices powered up for a lot longer.
Wow.
I'm sorry. What was that?
It's good.
Oh, the almond breeze I bought for you that you haven't had before now.
Yes.
That I got you last week that you said you wouldn't try, and now you're drinking and enjoying. That almond breeze?
What's happening, Dad?
Oh, I think we both know what's happening.
They get delicious taste and 50% more calcium. You get all the credit. Blue Diamond Almond Breeze. Don't just milk it, almond milk it.
I occasionally get bladder leaks.
I tried Always Discreet underwear. It absorbs an entire glass of water. It fit like a glove. It just felt like real underwear. Game changer.
It's the protection we deserve.
Think Mom's mad about her favorite shoes? Nope, because Bank of America lets her switch her choice cashback category to online shopping, so she earns more on a replacement pair.
With the Bank of America customized cash rewards card, you just can't stop getting rewarded.
5:15, TikTok is launching a new program designed to increase revenue for creators. ABC's Morgan Norwood has details in today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, TikTok's new creativity program, which is being launched here in the U.S. TikTok says the program is meant to help creators earn more and unlock more real-world opportunities. The program is invite only, at least for now, but it is expected to expand. Google Chrome is making its memory and battery saver modes available to all users. The features first appeared in December. Both are enabled by default. Energy Saver limits background activity and other functions. Well, a first-generation iPhone has been auctioned off for more than $63,000. You heard that right. The phone initially sold in 2007 was still sealed in its box. It has 3.5 inches of screen and 2-megapixel camera. The seller said she got the phone as a gift after she bought a new phone, so she never opened it. Well, those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
5:16.
It's been an interesting morning with the sweepers out there. I came across them.
Yeah, same here. I was driving into work this morning just like this, and well, more like this, not like this.
He needs alignment.
Yes, yeah. Make sure to check your vehicles before you get out there too, guys. But yeah, the sweepers look like they have already finished the job, so let's get a quick look around town, see what else is going on, because really it's off to a decent, quiet start, and that's expected this early in the morning. We did have one issue along 37 that cleared out rather quickly, so special thanks to our first responders, but hopefully that incident, everyone is doing okay. 37 at Jones Avenue, very quiet out there. Even 37 at Hackberry looks like a ghost road, but really what you're going to see a little bit later on this morning are going to be more construction spots, and that's what we have on our map for you right now. You can see plenty of that taking place, and right now some of the areas to be on the lookout for are right along here, along FM 1103 in Guadalupe County. Pavement work has been ongoing since yesterday, and this is going to take us all the way up until the end of the week. So that work starts at 8 in the morning and should wrap at 5 in the afternoon. So this is going to take all day. Intermittent closures on the eastbound lanes at the Turning Stone intersection is what drivers can expect. But remember, you can always head over to ksat.com/traffic for a full list of closures there. I updated that list yesterday, but because it was such a busy morning on the roads, really didn't get a chance to talk too much construction. So we're going to do that today as long as it stays quiet, and that seems to be the case right now. US 90 at Military, one or two folks making their way on by there, and thankfully roads may be dry right now, but Mike, that could change a little bit later.
Yeah, with some of this fog out there. Yesterday we had a little bit of mist, and this morning with some of the fog showing up, just watch it for a couple of damp spots here and there. Great picture. Yes, this was from yesterday. God bless America, President's Day. Thank you very much. Amen to that. It's always interesting when looking at the cloud formations like that, forming a beautiful cross out there. All right, a little bit fuzzy off in the distance, looking down there to the south to southwest over there, 410 at 10. 60 in town, 59 Bernie Stage, 56 Bandera, and pretty much upper 50s, low 60s. Very steady, consistent temperatures this morning. And there's the fog, a hint of it at the airport. Portis Stinson has now dropped to 2 miles, still a quarter mile at Randolph as well as at New Braunfels, and then heading up I-35. And that's where the thickest fog is, right there along I-35, kind of centered on New Braunfels. It is going to get thicker at times, and again, go up 35, you may run into just a couple of little spots with some mist out there. Temperatures are going to stay steady, maybe drop a little bit. We've already dropped down into the upper 50s and then kind of came back up in the past hour and a half, and we'll be up to the mid 70s today at noon. noon. We were at 79 yesterday. We're going to top that by another 5, getting up to 84. And that wind out of the south to southeast primarily just pulling in all this humidity. And that's going to be the case throughout the rest of the day. So with dew points getting up into the low, even mid 60s, yeah, you'll feel that mid 80s. And then we start off a lot of humidity tomorrow morning. Then already by early morning, the dry line front is going to come through here in the hill country and then move through by about mid-afternoon tomorrow. Wind's going to shift around out of the west to southwest. And when that happens, that really tends to heat us up. With the dew points dropping off, that means it's that much easier for the air to heat up. Dry air heats up a lot more easily. And that's why we're going to be getting up into the upper 80s tomorrow. And then a lot of 90s along the Rio Grande Valley. Humidity then starts to make its return very quickly in behind that. Now, with the very dry air and the windy conditions tomorrow, there is a fire weather watch that has already been issued. It goes into effect. This is for tomorrow, 11 o'clock till 5 o'clock. Winds are going to be gusting about 40 miles per hour out there in portions of the hill country. Does not include Bexar County, but of course, it's been forever, it seems like, since we've had any rain around here. So things are really dry. You got to take it very easy and be very careful tomorrow. Dew points, like I said, tomorrow they drop off and then come right back in here. And it's going to be staying just muggy enough that you're going to notice it all the way through the weekend. And temperatures are going to be hovering, with the exception of Friday, right around the low 80s all weekend long. So not as hot as tomorrow, but still way above normal by a good 10, 12, 13 degrees. 76 today at noon. Partly cloudy skies. High temperatures then going to make it up to 84, way above normal by a good 15 degrees. And then add to that pretty much 20 degrees above normal tomorrow, up to 88. With that dry line moving through, humidity drops off, so it'll be a more comfortable 88 degrees. And then humidity comes right back in here. Another front for Friday. That one's going to knock temperatures down a little bit. And then they rebound right back into the low 80s. So again, across the board, 15 on average, 15 degrees above normal for low and high temperatures all the way through the weekend. Maybe a couple of showers on Monday. As the front moves through tomorrow, it may squeeze out a sprinkle. I wouldn't really count on it too much. So
not yet.
By the way, happy Fat Tuesday.
Happy
That's
Fat
right.
Tuesday. That's right. Tomorrow's Ash Wednesday. You guys look so festive today.
Yeah.
Beautiful tie, bright earrings. I look like I'm going to a NATO meeting.
No.
You guys look
have
great.
color on your pocket square.
Oh, yeah, a little bit
they're
there.
Very fancy.
All right, partial credit. 522, 60 degrees.
And up next, Avatar continues to make noise in Hollywood, why it's reaching Titanic levels of success in your morning spotlight.
524, there's a lot happening in entertainment this morning, both at the box office and in the heart of Hollywood.
David Daniel has a breakdown in today's Hollywood Minute.
Avatar: The Way of Water has passed Titanic for third place on the worldwide all-time box office chart. With $2.244 billion, the sequel is still more than $500 million behind Avengers: Endgame for second and nearly $680 million behind the original Avatar for first. Of course, with the two Avatars and Titanic, James Cameron still has 3 of the top 4 highest-grossing movies ever.
Pushing our sound to places we've never been before, and that
Pentatonix is kicking off a busy week on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The Grammy-winning a cappella group gets a star today in the live performance category. 3 days from now, a posthumous star ceremony is planned for the late actor Ray Liotta in the movies category. And then 3 days after that, actress and producer Courtney Cox gets her star in the television category. Plenty of friends figure to be on hand for all 3 Tinseltown events. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
526, 60 degrees.
Still to come at 5:30, Turkey dealing with another earthquake. What we've been able to learn from first responders on the ground.
Plus, we've got the very latest on Ukraine and President Biden's pledge of support as the Russian invasion inches closer to the 1-year mark.
And here at home, a new program is helping Ukrainians who have come to the U.S. start their new lives. We're going to hear from those working right now to help families in need. In the last 2 years, 1 in 3 Americans have switched jobs. Experts say the most common reason, better pay. Still ahead on GMSA at 6, what questions you should ask yourself before quitting that job.
Local man says someone shot him as he rode his bike in a Southwest Side neighborhood. Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber. I'll tell you why that is not where police found him. Coming up.
Also this morning on GMSA, thousands of Ukrainians have fled their homes during the Russian invasion, making the United States their new home. how a program is helping them start over.
And let's look out there with live cam. Kind of humid out there, but we're going to be checking in with Mike for your Mardi Gras forecast and we'll ask him about those warm temperatures we're expecting this week.
Morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, the 21st of February.
Thanks for joining us. Yes, it's going to be so warm.
Just hot, basically. Even walking around outside yesterday. So a little bit of trivia for you. As we talk about in the commercial breaks, Mr. Cavazos is watching 2001 Space Odyssey for the first time. And HAL, the computer, where they got the name, each letter in HAL is one letter from IBM.
I did
way back in the 60s.
Yes. Good sci-fi trivia.
Yeah, and no spoiler alerts, please. I'm almost halfway through.
You're good with me because I forgot. I can't remember. I have to rewatch it.
No, I won't see it. Anyway, outside it is very warm and humid starting off this morning. We also have a little bit of fog. Not bad out there by the airport, but there's a somewhat of a glow kind of around some of the lights off there in the distance. We've got 58 degrees, so temperatures have just been kind of going back and forth about 2-3 degrees over the past couple of hours. Dew point still at 56, so very high relative humidity, no wind to deal with, and so when you have the dew points and the temperatures running neck and neck, no wind, a lot of times that's a couple of the good ingredients to see some fog. 60 in Bulverde, 58 at Randolph, Stinson, 50s in portions of the hill country, and visibility has dropped again at Stinson, 1 3/4 mile now. Quarter mile, Randolph, as well as New Braunfels. The thickest fog is right here, kind of centered on I-35 in between New Braunfels and Randolph. You may run into a little bit of mist as well. Some down here along the coastal plain, and as is usually the case, I would say with fog in the morning, it will get thicker at times before it thins out. So just be on the lookout for that as you head on out the front door this morning, heading to work and school. Just a whole list of allergens out there, everything being on the low side, but yeah, good sign of spring when you get all those showing up. 76 degrees today at noon, 84 high temperature. I think when we get up into the 80s, you can qualify that as hot, not just very warm. Plus, we're going to have plenty of humidity. That's going to really add to that 84 degrees. A lot of sunshine out there with some of those high clouds. It's going to be even hotter tomorrow, actually in behind a front. I'll explain about that and see what's in store for the upcoming weekend. Traffic Authority right now. What's going on, Mr. Cavazos?
Well, Mike, not a whole lot over here, so that's great. Nothing to complain about, but let's get a quick look and see what you can expect for this morning drive, because 410 at Crossroads, things are getting just maybe a little bit busier now that the commute is picking up. We are getting closer to 6 a.m., and you guys know this. We're going to see a lot more folks out there, but right now I would say you're in the clear. 281 right there, even at 410. Not a lot of traffic this early in the morning. Now, we did have sweepers out on the roadway. They have already cleared the scene, so we're just really looking at a lot of pavement, and again, a few more folks making their way on by. Getting a shot here of the map, it is the same story, plenty of green on the screen and several construction spots. So as long as it stays quiet out there, we'll be able to talk about what you can expect in terms of some of these closures. But for right now, let's take a look at some of those travel times. 28 minutes, still pretty pleasant along I-37 northbound. If you're traveling in from Pleasanton this early in the morning, it should take you about half an hour or so if you're traveling along US 90 eastbound from Castroville, and that arrival from Lytle should take about 16 minutes along I-35 northbound. So again, things are quiet for now, but we're going to continue to watch these roads closely. 10 at the Y. Mark, that's your favorite shot there. And hey, tell you what, it's one of my favorite shots as well because it looks quiet, clear, calm. Hopefully it stays that way for a little while longer, but we'll have an update on some of those closures coming up a little bit later on. Guys.
Thank you, Stephen. New this morning, a middle-of-the-night bike ride has left a man in pain. He told San Antonio police someone with a gun took aim at him as he pedaled along a southwest side street. Our Katrina Weber has that story live from downtown. And Katrina, do police have any idea why this happened?
Right now, it doesn't appear that they do. They're handling this as a drive-by shooting. Police say they found evidence of that shooting right where the victim told them it happened, near Somerset Road and Cree Street. The 34-year-old man, police say, was shot twice in his leg as he rode his bike there a little after midnight. But that is not where they found him. They say a Good Samaritan noticed he was hurt and drove him to a hospital. The victim told officers that the shooter, again, was in a passing car. And the only information that police have right now about that car is that it was a black sedan. Reporting live downtown, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Katrina, thank you. Happening today, President Joe Biden's in Poland following that surprise trip to Ukraine.
It was Biden's first time in the country since the start of the Russian invasion nearly a year ago.
As CNN's John Lawrence explains, not everyone is on board with this covert mission, including some U.S. lawmakers.
President Joe Biden met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Kyiv Monday, saying the U.S. will stand with the country as it battles against Russian forces.
Freedom is priceless. It's worth fighting for as long as it takes, and that's how long we're going to be with you, Mr. President.
Biden announced more aid to Ukraine, including $500 million worth of new assistance, including military equipment and ammunition.
I won't get ahead of future announcements. You'll see us announce some more here very, very shortly, and that'll continue well into the coming weeks and months.
Biden also said new sanctions would be imposed on Moscow later this week.
These conversations brings us closer to the victory, and we hope that this year, the 2023, will become a year of victory.
Moscow is reportedly upset with a comment Vice President Kamala Harris recently made, accusing Russia of committing crimes against humanity during its war in Ukraine. The Kremlin has not publicly commented on Biden's trip, but former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev accused the U.S. of warmongering support for Ukraine. Meanwhile, some House Republicans are also blasting Biden's surprise trip to Ukraine, including Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, who tweeted it's, quote, incredibly insulting that Americans pay for Ukraine's government and war. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Here at home, a new program is helping Ukrainians who have come to the U.S. to start their new lives. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services started Uniting for Ukraine last April to help people seeking refuge. They're referred to as humanitarian parolees and are allowed to stay in the U.S. for 2 years. Now, a new 90-day program aims to help by connecting them with resources for housing, jobs, and benefits. Several local organizations like Lutheran Immigration and Refugee Service and Catholic Charities are helping people sign up for that program. They are encouraging people to do so immediately.
Very important because a lot of people saying that they come here and they don't know even where to start.
Now, Friday will mark 1 year of this war, and there are 2 rallies planned to honor the solemn occasion. The first is Thursday at 5:30 p.m. at City Hall. The second will be on Friday at the San Fernando Cathedral at noon. Over in Ohio, 15,000 pounds of contaminated soil and 1 million gallons of contaminated water have been taken from the site of that toxic train derailment in East Palestine. And workers are transporting the material to landfills and disposal facilities. The Ohio Health Department is turning a church into a health clinic today where people can be evaluated by nurses and toxicologists. The train company Norfolk Southern is also handing out money to those affected.
In your morning headlines, another earthquake has struck the same province in Turkey that was devastated by an even larger one 2 weeks ago. This earthquake measured as a 6.4 magnitude tremor. The mayor in the region says a number of buildings have collapsed, trapping people inside. So far, there's no immediate report of any casualties. The quake was also felt in Syria, Jordan, Israel, and Egypt. Meanwhile, a pair of Fort Worth police officers being recognized for a 20-hour road trip to deliver an 18-wheeler of water to people in East Palestine, Ohio. That 18-wheeler was able to carry 13 pallets of 40,000 bottles, totaling 2,000 gallons of water. They left Saturday morning and were able to reach Ohio Sunday night.
That's awesome. Time now 5:38 and 60 degrees for now.
Still to come on GMSA. A new children's book is hoping to make the courtroom easier to understand for young people. We've got the preview next.
And let's look out there with live cam. We're at 60 degrees, kind of humid, but if you're out there for a while, maybe a light sweater. You definitely won't need it this afternoon. We'll be right back.
.541, looking ahead, we're still a couple of months away from the May 6th election, but the ballots have been finalized.
Names were drawn Monday to determine the order on the ballot. It's a process required by the state, and while the order doesn't have any significance, some believe the first name on the list has better odds of winning. City leaders want to remind voters it's important to do your homework.
Kind of feel like it's important that people go out and learn about their candidates, learn about who the best person is for them to vote for.
And if you're voting on May 6th, make sure you are registered by April 6th. The early voting period starts on April 24th. You can read more about the upcoming election on our website at KSAT.com.
As for the current vacancy in District 7, the city clerk's office will continue accepting candidate applications this week. Former Councilwoman Ana Sandoval stepped down from office last month. Applicants must meet eligibility requirements, and the deadline is noon this Friday. Applications will be accepted in person at the city clerk's office. The interim council member will be chosen by council early next month. You can find information on how to apply right now on KSAT.com. Meanwhile, it's difficult for kids to understand how things work in a courtroom.
That's why one local civil district court judge helped create a book to help children better understand Bexar County courts. And the idea was brought to the 45th Civil District Court Judge Mary Lou Alvarez, and she loved it. The new Children's Courthouse Adventure book is filled with fun facts, puzzles, and coloring pages.
It includes all kinds of activities to help educate kids about the basics of courthouse, courtroom, and the role of a judge. Now, this is the first edition of the activity book, but the hope is to create new versions yearly.
Time now, 5:42 and 60 degrees for now.
Up next, how much would you pay for a piece of tech history? Why a phone is going for tens of thousands of dollars.
Look out there with TransGuide. Earlier we had sweepers, but this shot at Highway 281 looks pretty good. And also here at 281 at St. Mary's, we're going to check in with Stephen Cavazos later on. And welcome back. It's 5:45 in your morning consumer headlines. A homegrown company in Kansas is taking on the challenge of producing more computer chips in the U.S. The company is called EMP Shield, and it's investing nearly $2 billion in the expansion. The goal is to produce thousands of computer chips per week and create 1,200 new jobs. The company hopes to get support from the Federal CHIPS Act, which calls for computer chips that affect everyday life and national security to be made in the U.S.
A first-generation 2007 iPhone has sold for more than $63,000 at auction. That's more than 100 times its original cost of $599. The box had never been opened. That's a big deal. The original iPhone had no app store, ran on 2G network, and was exclusively on AT&T's network.
Families that fly on United Airlines together will now have better options to sit together. The airline is making a change in how it will seat passengers. Kids 12 and under can now sit next to an adult accompanying them without an extra fee. Customers will start to see the changes immediately, but the official policy won't take effect until next month. However, United says if seats are not available because of full flights or last-minute bookings, passengers can switch to another flight for free if preferred seating on that flight is available.
Smart play and probably a big sigh of relief for a lot of traveling parents.
Definitely. It's needed.
Right now, 5:47.
Let's check back with Stephen Cavazos.
Well, things are normal over here, guys. Roads have been quiet all morning long, but we're getting closer to 6 a.m., so that's going to change in the next few minutes or so. But right now, things are in the clear. 90 west at Zazamoto. You can see a few more folks getting out on the roadway this early in the morning. 10 at Callahan. A busy shot there as well in both those east and westbound lanes. And US 90, you can expect that's going to be a problem spot a little bit later on in terms of congestion. But right now, I would say if you can, head out the door and enjoy the roadways. But watch out here along I-10 westbound at UTSA Boulevard. TxDOT has reported some road debris in the area. Now, this is not causing any issues, but if you're heading up west toward maybe 1604, that area, you will likely see some of that road debris out there. So again, keep your focus out on the roadways. Wide look at the map does show plenty of construction continues to take place, and as promised, we're going to talk about what's taking place here along 281 on the north side of San Antonio. There's plenty of work taking place. You've seen it on the TransGuide cameras, but today we will see pavement work. Now, that does begin around 9 in the morning, and this will take us all the way up until Thursday, February 23rd. So pack your patience, especially if you're traveling during those times. We will see alternating lane closures in both directions right there at Wilderness Oak. But scan this QR code that is now on the screen that takes you to our traffic page. We have a full list of closures on that website, along with any other incidents that may pop up that could impact your commute. But again, 281, one of those spots that we tend to see a lot of work take place there. I actually had one of our viewers send me a message just a little bit confused about what we were seeing out there, and that's likely a lot of that pavement work, the asphalt work, the bridge work. Just plan your commute ahead of time. Yeah.
That would be good.
Thanks, Stephen.
What was that, 16 years ago when the iPhone first came out?
07.
07, okay.
07, yeah.
That's when I graduated high school.
Yeah.
And to think,
Did you get one?
For real?
For a present?
real. No, I was not an Apple guy at the time. It was probably the flip phones.
Flip phone. Yeah, we all had a flip phone at one point.
I was late.
Flip phone.
I was late to the game and getting a smartphone.
And it was such a novelty back then, and now it's like you can't do anything. It's like we can't log into our computers here at work without a phone.
Some of our parents still have an 07 iPhone, and they're like, it's just fine.
And when was the last time you actually made a call?
Yeah, Mom and Dad, call us.
Yeah. Anyway, hey, beautiful picture out there. We're talking about spring and some of the flowers in bloom, a lot of wildflowers, and the rose bushes are saying, yes, it is spring. Hopefully we don't have any more freezes. The average last freeze is February 24th, so that is Friday is the average last freeze. We have, though, had a lot of freezes through the month of March, and the latest it's ever frozen here in town officially is April the 3rd. So we're not completely out of the woods yet, but just looking at some of the long-range computer models, I think those delicate little rose petals are pretty safe from another freeze. This camera's a little bit out of focus, but what you can see is a little bit of kind of haze out there. Temperatures are averaging upper 50s right now, a couple of 60s. We've been sort of fluctuating, going back and forth here in town. It was low 60s, dropped down to the upper 50s, back up to the low 60s, back down again. Now we're at 58 degrees and a ton of humidity, of course, right kind of centered here on I-35, the eastern portion of Bexar County. Stinson's now down to 3/4 of a mile visibility and still holding it a 1/4 mile. Randolph as well as New Braunfels. You may see a little bit of mist out there. Temperatures are going to stay steady for the next couple of hours with some of that patchy fog. Not widespread, but where it is, it's pretty thick. And again, right up there on the I-35 corridor. We'll make it up to the mid 70s at noon, and then a high temperature today up to 84 with a lot of those high clouds out there, but a lot of sunshine and a lot of humidity. With these numbers, when you get dew points above 60, it's slightly on the muggy side, so that's going to be the case all afternoon, most of the night, and then tomorrow morning we're going to be watching the next front move through here. It is technically a cold front, more like a dry line, because dew points are going to be dropping off like a rock. We're going to be dropping into the 20s and even teens as time goes on temporarily. And with that dry air, which heats up a lot more easily than moist air does, temperatures are going to be skyrocketing in behind that front, if you will, but the humidity comes right back in here as we then go into Thursday. Now, we do have a fire weather watch. It's been issued, goes into effect tomorrow, 11 till 5, very high fire danger out in portions of the hill country. Despite the fact it is so warm down here, -10 International Falls, single digits up there to the north, but all that just stays up there, unfortunately, if you're a cold weather lover, but fortunately for those rose bushes, that cold stuff stays up there. Here's some of the low clouds hanging around here right now. And off to the west of us, we do have this little bit of rain and somewhat of a circulation there. It's a low, which is kind of just sitting out there. All that's really doing for us is throwing in a lot of that high level moisture, and that's going to continue to be the case for the next couple of days so it's not going to be completely clear skies out there, but it's not going to give us, unfortunately, any great rain chances, or any rain chances really at all. 76 degrees, partly cloudy skies at noon, and a high temperature today up to 84, mostly sunny. Now, as that front moves through, especially in the hill country tomorrow, it could squeeze out a couple little sprinkles. I wouldn't really get excited about that at all. There's yet another front which is going to move through Thursday. That'll knock temperatures down 5, 6, 7 degrees. Okay, we'll take it. 75 on Friday, but back to the 80s. And again, humidity sticking around through the weekend. A couple of showers on Monday.
We're going to have to dust off our summer wear.
No kidding.
In the 80s.
Yeah.
Thanks,
and
Mike.
humid today, too.
Time now, 5:53 and 59 degrees for now.
Up next, the city of San Antonio hoping a new tree giveaway will inspire people to show their green thumbs this spring. We'll explain after this.
Good morning. Coming up here on GMA, we'll have the latest on President Biden's high-stakes trips to Europe, marking 1 year since Russia invaded Ukraine. We are learning new details about his secret trip into Kyiv and what Vladimir Putin is saying this morning. And then we're celebrating 10 years since Robin returned to the desk from her bone marrow transplant. And today, it's about this one-match, second chance event all across the nation. You can help find out more matches for life-saving transplants and how you can be a part of it right here on GMA.
It might be only Tuesday, but of course we're looking ahead to the weekend. San Antonio Parks and Rec is holding the first of 2 tree giveaways. It's this Saturday, February 25th, starting at 8 a.m. at Rosedale Park. The Sweet and Green event will include lemon, lime, avocado, mango, and fig trees, to name a few. There'll be 850 trees to give away, and it's one tree per household while supplies last. Great deal. If you missed Saturday's event, there's going to be a second one coming up in March at Nelson Wolff Stadium. We have all that information online at KSAT.com. Well, ahead in the next hour of GMSA this morning, in the last 2 years, 1 in 3 Americans have switched jobs. Experts say the most common reason, better pay. We'll talk about the questions you should ask yourself before quitting a job. And social media is at the center of 2 cases going before the United States Supreme Court today. One, how one family is claiming YouTube is the cause for their daughter's death. And looking at TransGuide right now, see how things are looking out there. A lot more traffic today. We had the President's Day holiday yesterday, but it's Fat Tuesday. We'll see how the morning commute is going so far and check out Mike's mild forecast still to come right here. One more hour of news, weather, and traffic to come on GMSA.